Imagine spending years building the perfect life. A beautiful farmhouse, a successful husband, 5 children, millions of followers, and a brand built around family values. From the outside, Natalie Heller Mills seems to have everything. Natalie is the face of Yesteryear Ranch, a wildly popular social media account where she shares videos of homemade bread, family dinners, farm animals, and traditional living. Every post looks perfect. Every smile looks genuine. Every moment feels magical. People around the world admire her life and wish they could live exactly like her. But appearances can be deceiving. Behind the camera, cracks are already beginning to form. Natalie receives an email from Shannon, the young producer who has helped build the Yesteryear Ranch empire. The message is short, professional, cold. Shannon is leaving. After years of working together, she has decided to walk away.
And somehow, Natalie immediately knows this isn't just a normal resignation. Something is wrong. What makes the situation worse is that Natalie already suspects there is something going on between Shannon and her husband, Caleb. For months, she has ignored the warning signs, the late-night conversations, the private meetings, the strange tension whenever they are together. She never wanted to believe it, but now she can no longer pretend everything is fine. Despite everything, the cameras keep rolling. Natalie continues filming content. She smiles, she laughs, she bakes bread. She plays the role her audience expects. Because in her world, appearances matter more than reality, and the illusion of perfection must never break. But while Natalie is desperately trying to protect her image, events are already moving beyond her control. And soon, her perfect world will begin to collapse.
As Shannon prepares to leave Yesteryear Ranch, the atmosphere around the farm becomes increasingly uncomfortable. The entire operation depends on teamwork. Natalie is the face. Caleb is the charming husband. Shannon handles production. Together, they created an online empire. But now, the foundation is cracking. During filming, every interaction feels awkward. Every glance carries hidden meaning. Natalie notices things she once ignored. The way Caleb reacts around Shannon. The way Shannon avoids eye contact. The way both of them seem nervous whenever she enters the room. Something is being hidden, and Natalie can feel it.
The more she thinks about it, the more difficult it becomes to focus on work. Her carefully controlled world suddenly feels unstable. For years, she believed she could manage every problem. Now, she is starting to realize that some problems grow in the dark until they become impossible to control. For the first time, Natalie feels genuine fear. Not fear of losing followers, not fear of criticism, but fear of losing her family. And deep down, she knows that once trust is broken, it can never fully be repaired. Yet neither Natalie nor the audience knows that the affair is only the beginning. A much bigger mystery is waiting just around the corner.
That evening, after another exhausting day of filming, Natalie sits down with Caleb. The conversation begins normally, but it doesn't stay normal for long. Caleb reveals that his father, Doug Mills, has bigger plans for the family. Doug is a powerful political figure, and he wants Caleb to enter politics as well. The family name is about to become even more important, even more public, even more scrutinized. At first, this should be good news. More influence, more opportunities, more success. But Natalie doesn't feel excited. Instead,
she feels trapped. Because the more public their lives become, the harder it will be to hide the secrets already growing beneath the surface.
As the conversation continues, Natalie can't stop thinking about Shannon. Why did she really leave? Why now? And what might she do next? The questions keep multiplying, but the answers never come. That night, Natalie struggles to sleep. Something feels wrong. Very wrong. Almost as if the life she knows is standing on the edge of a cliff. And all it takes is one small push for everything to fall apart. She has no idea that this
feeling is only the beginning. Because soon, Natalie is going to wake up in a reality that should not exist. A reality where everything familiar becomes strange. A reality that will force her to question everything she believes about her family, her marriage, and even herself.
The following morning begins like any other day. The sun rises over Yesteryear Ranch. The animals need feeding, the children need attention, and Natalie has another content schedule to follow. From the outside, nothing is changed, but inside, Natalie feels different. The conversation with Caleb keeps replaying in her mind. Shannon's sudden departure, the possibility of a political campaign, the growing tension in her marriage. Everything feels heavier. As she moves through the house, Natalie notices how carefully everyone is behaving. Nobody talks about Shannon. Nobody mentions the rumors. It's as if her name has been erased overnight. And somehow, that silence feels more suspicious than any argument.
The ranch suddenly feels less like a home and more like a stage. Every person seems to be performing. Every conversation feels scripted. Every smile feels forced. Natalie begins wondering whether she has spent so many years creating a fantasy online that she can no longer tell where reality ends. But before she can find answers, another problem appears. A reporter has started asking questions. Questions about the ranch. Questions about the business. Questions about Shannon. And questions Natalie definitely does not want answered. The walls protecting Yesteryear Ranch are beginning to crack. And once those cracks spread, everything hidden inside will be exposed.
As pressure builds around the ranch, Natalie becomes obsessed with controlling the narrative. For years, she has carefully managed every detail of her public image. If something looks bad, she fixes it. If someone causes problems, she removes them. Control has always been her greatest strength. Now, it is becoming her greatest weakness. The more Natalie tries to suppress the growing problems, the larger they become. She checks social media constantly. She watches comments. She monitors news articles. She searches for any mention of Shannon. Every notification feels dangerous. Every message feels like a threat.
Fear slowly transforms into paranoia. Natalie starts questioning everyone around her. Who knows the truth? Who might talk? Who can still be trusted? The answers are becoming harder to find. Meanwhile, Caleb appears strangely calm. Too calm. While Natalie is struggling to keep everything together, Caleb seems almost detached from the chaos. His behavior only creates more suspicion, and Natalie starts wondering if there are secrets she still doesn't know about. Soon, she will discover that the truth is far more complicated than she imagined, and once she learns it, her life will never return to normal.
That night, exhaustion finally catches up with Natalie. The house grows quiet. The children are asleep. The cameras are off. For the first time all day, there is silence. Natalie lies awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. Her mind refuses to rest. Every problem circles through her thoughts. Shannon, Caleb, the reporter, the political campaign, the future. Nothing feels certain anymore. The perfect life she spent years building suddenly feels fragile, as if it could disappear at any moment. Eventually, sleep begins to pull her under. The room becomes darker. The sounds around her fade away. Everything becomes distant. And then, nothing. Hours later, Natalie opens her eyes. At first, she thinks she is still dreaming. Something feels wrong. The room looks unfamiliar. The air feels different. The silence feels unnatural. She sits up, confused, disoriented, and frightened. This is not the bedroom she remembers. This is not the house she went to sleep in. And when Natalie steps outside, the world waiting for her is impossible to explain.
The ranch is still there, but it isn't her ranch. The buildings look older. The landscape feels different. The entire world seems to belong to another century. Natalie has no idea where she is or how she got there. But one thing is already clear. Something impossible has happened. And the real story is only beginning. Natalie freezes as she stares across the ranch. Everything is familiar and yet completely wrong. The farmhouse stands where it should. The barn is still there. The fields stretch toward the horizon. But everything looks older, rougher, less modern. It feels as if someone has taken her world and pushed it backward in time. Natalie rushes back inside. She searches for her phone. Nothing. Her laptop, gone. Television, gone. Internet router, gone. Every piece of modern technology has vanished. Her breathing becomes faster. This cannot be real. Maybe she's dreaming. Maybe she's sick. Maybe she's lost her mind. But every object she touches feels real. Every sound feels real. Every second feels real. Then she hears footsteps. Children's voices. Natalie turns around. Several children are standing nearby, looking directly at her. The strange thing isn't that they're there. The strange thing is that they seem to know her, even though she has never seen them before. The children call her Mother. Natalie's blood runs cold. She doesn't recognize any of them, yet they act as if she has known them their entire lives. And before she can ask questions, another familiar face appears. It's Caleb, or at least someone who looks exactly like Caleb. But his clothes belong to another century. His mannerisms are different. His expression is different. Everything about him feels wrong. Natalie wants answers, but every answer she receives only creates more questions. And the deeper she looks into this strange world, the more terrifying it becomes. Natalie spends the day trying to understand where she is, and more importantly, when she is. Every person she meets behaves as though this world is completely normal. Nobody notices anything strange. Nobody questions their surroundings. To them, this is simply life. The women wear old-fashioned clothing. The men spend their days working the land. There are no phones, no cars, no electricity, no signs of the modern world.
It's as if she has stepped into a living history book. At first, Natalie tries to convince herself that there must be a logical explanation. Maybe it's some kind of elaborate prank. Maybe she's experiencing a mental breakdown. Maybe she's trapped inside a bizarre experiment. Anything would make more sense than time travel.
But then she begins hearing people mention a name. Yesteryear. The word appears again and again, as if it carries special meaning, as if this place was designed for a purpose. And somehow, Natalie feels connected to it. The more she learns, the more disturbing the truth becomes. Because this isn't simply the past. This place has rules. Strict rules. Rules about marriage. Rules about women. Rules about family. Rules that Natalie never agreed to follow. And very soon, she will discover what happens to people who break them.
As days pass, Natalie realizes she cannot keep pretending forever. Sooner or later, someone will notice that something is wrong. The woman these people believe she is not the real Natalie. That woman belongs to this world. Natalie does not. Every conversation feels dangerous. Every mistake could expose her. Every question attracts suspicion. One evening, she starts secretly searching through the house, looking for clues, looking for evidence, looking for anything that might explain how she arrived here. Hidden among old belongings, she discovers records and documents, names, dates, family histories. At first, they seem ordinary. Then, she notices something impossible.
The names are familiar, terrifyingly familiar. Many of them match people from her real life. Different versions, different histories, but somehow connected. It's as though the people she knows exist in both worlds. Natalie suddenly realizes she may not be trapped in a random place. She may have been brought here for a reason. And if that's true, someone or something wanted her here.
That night, Natalie stares out into the darkness surrounding the ranch. For the first time, she begins wondering whether returning home is even possible. Because every new discovery reveals a larger mystery. And somewhere inside that mystery lies the secret of yesteryear itself.